have we been foregoing the pledge since we're not present?
I put it on the agenda, but we can, other commissions, and I think the council has not done the pledge since it's,
Okay, we'll just forego it because
You
it's
know-
kind of awkward with all the
yeah.
mute, off muting. So we'll just move on with our first item of business, which is discussion and possible action on the design plans for an addition exterior remodel for 180 East Bird Lane. And is Jason present?
Yes, good evening, Chair, board members, and public. How's my audio, everybody? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Good. I'm on my new laptop. I'm making sure it sounds good. So, all right, perfect. So I'll get started with design plans for 180 East Bird Lane. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as I commonly do, just so people can kind of trace along, especially for members of the public that listen in and may not have a copy of the staff report or know the project that we're talking about. So give me 1 second to share my screen. Okay. And for some of you on your phones, you're not going to be able to read it because it's going to be so small, but hopefully you can read it on your laptop. So what we'll do is I'm just going to read along. You're welcome to trace along with me and describe the project. So this first one's an exterior remodel. It's a conversion of an existing carport to livable space, plus they're going to add a new 3-car garage onto the back of the residence. The applicant for this project is also seeking to refinish the exterior of their home, which is a common trend we've seen over the last at least 5 or 6 years that I've been doing these design review board hearings, and that they want to refinish over the slump block with the sand finish stucco. They're going to do some board and batten trim and do some antique brick accents. The majority of the additional livable area of the home will be added to the rear for a new master suite, and it'll include a new side entry 3-car garage. So if you look below, I'm going to go ahead and scroll along. And so you can see the existing home with the hipped roof, really low slung roof lines, deep overhangs over the front. You can see the slump block material. And if you look down below, that's the proposed elevation. So you're going to see that they're going to provide, we saw this last month on another home where they decided to kind of add some prominence and a kind of a welcoming entry area. You can see the little porch area right over here. They've added that. You can see they've done some stuff here with some rails here. Looks like a courtyard. They've done the shutters next to the windows to bring some focus to the windows. And it'll be all smooth finish stucco, and it will be, I believe, a much brighter color, kind of a off-white. Like I said, the changes of the home are largely cosmetic. It'll have kind of that enhanced modern ranch appeal that's been popular in Litchfield Park of recent. The livable space in the back is about 756 square feet. It'll overlook the rear yard. Even so, with all this additional square footage, the lot coverage is only at a little over 19%, which is well under the 30% allowed. And overall, staff finds that the project's going to add, significant value to the residents, the surrounding neighborhood, along with the amenity of the 3-car garage. So we're recommending approval of the application, subject to the exhibits provided by the applicant. We didn't add the typical response of colors and materials match the building because they're proposing new colors and materials. So at least that comes up. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Did I mute myself?
You're on.
Okay. So the applicant, is there anything you want to add? Could you state your name for the record and if there's anything you want to add? Is it Mike?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Michael Fernandez. No, there's no additional information I'd like to add.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant or staff by the board members? Do I hear any questions for any of the board members?
They're not muted, huh? If they muted themselves, is that it? Okay.
So if anyone wants to speak, you have to unmute yourself, I guess.
I don't have any questions personally.
Okay. Any other board member have any questions for the applicant or the staff? Not, would someone like to propose a motion?
Madam Chairman, motion
Yes, John?
that we, for the residents at 180 East Bird Lane, based on the drawings that we received in our packet and the ones we have here tonight, I would move we approve the request, subject to the normal, well, I guess you brought up a good point. There's nothing to match, and the textures are changing texture. So I know the history of 360. Mike has done a good job, so I would rely on him. So I move that we approve it.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm losing my agenda. So next up is design plans for an addition exterior remodel proposed for 117 South Florence Avenue. So Jason, would you give you a review for this?
Certainly, Chair and board members. The next item is an exterior remodel and garage addition to an existing residence at 117 South Florence. The applicant for the project seeks approval to enclose their existing carport on the front of the residence, and I'll scroll down a little bit further so you can see the street view. And the proposal is to add a new 2-car enclosed garage. A little portion of it will be in the forward rear portion of the carport, I should say. That'll become a little bit more new livable space, as you can see in the floor plan excerpt I've got here. And then the 2-car garage will push forward and meet the same wall plane as the low courtyard wall, which you can see in the picture a little bit, and meet the same front plane of the other side of the house. So the house has significant landscaping in the front, so I had a little trouble capturing it, but you can basically see what they'd like to do there. The roof line will change a bit. So they're going to propose a gabled roof line to extend forward, and that will mimic the roof line pattern that's occurring on the other side of the home. And the one thing I wanted to see if the applicant could clarify, and perhaps I overlooked it in the exhibits, was if they're, it's not, I listed it as a remodel, but it's not truly a remodel. I don't know that they're doing anything to the rest of the home or if they're just matching. If they could clarify that. Otherwise, staff supports the project. It'd be nice to enclose that carport and get them a garage. And their choice of roof line to mimic what's happening on the side of the house will all look very buttoned up. So we're supporting the project, subject to explanation of the colors and materials proposed.
Okay, is the applicant present?
Yes, present.
Okay, can you clarify any of the questions that Jason Sings had for you? As far as exterior treatments?
Sure. Yeah, so the new roof will be a gabled roof on about 2/3 of the house. We're putting in new trusses to open up the seating on the inside. On the exterior, what it's going to be, we're going to extend the carport out about 8 feet or so, and then close the garage. And it's going to, we're going to do a board bat finish on the front part of the garage and smooth stucco the front exterior to match, be a white, off-white color. And on the rear, we are adding about 200 square foot to the master suite to add in a full freestanding tub and a couple vanities for the interior for the master.
Okay. And okay. And are there any questions for the applicant or staff by the board members?
Yeah, Madam Chairman, I would have a question. I don't see anything on this application for the master bedroom or anything on the back of the house. Can you give us some clarification there?
Is it on the plan? I see it on the site plan.
I'm, Chair, I'm gonna go ahead and see, I've got the PDF bundle here. I'll see if I can
Uh-huh.
pull that up in screen share. I don't have it embedded in the staff report as a reference.
I have it on the, let's see. I see it on the new floor plan.
I must have overlooked it. Let me take a look here.
Yeah, if you have the packet, the agenda packet, it's on PDF page 27 of 98, I think.
It is in the pack,
Yeah.
recent review, and it's not on that.
Yeah, it's in the full package.
So, you know,
Yeah.
I do see a new addition on the floor plan. I don't know if I paid attention to that when I was looking at the elevations. You know, with it being on the rear, certainly that'll be nice to have the addition there. It won't be visible from the street. The one point I guess I wasn't certain I got the clarification on were color materials, and then also you'll note in the staff report I mentioned the garage door. If there's anything, if you're doing something decorative for it, or if it's a standard door, I couldn't quite tell. Let me share my screen and I'll pull up the elevations for you. Second. So you should be able to see that now. I couldn't tell. I didn't realize that was board and batten trim. Kind of like what's happening across the front elevation, I guess I should say.
Right, so over the garage, this will be a standard garage, 16 by 9 garage door. And the trim on each side of the garage and over the top of the garage gable there will be a board and batten white exterior. And then there's existing exterior brick there. We're just going to go over that with smooth sand stucco on the exterior on the front side.
Would that be for the entire home, or just so
Just
you're refinishing you're refinishing the slump block exterior? Is that what it is?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Okay. And you have a color palette picked, and
No, not necessarily. It'll probably be a white, off-white color on the exterior.
okay.
Will the shingles then change from the color they currently are to a different color?
It'll be in that same color family. It'll be a brown shingle, asphalt shingle.
Any other questions or concerns from the board? Fine. Is that, are there other homes with kind of the board and batten in that neighborhood?
Is that a question for me?
If I was looking at the elevation, we have the side by the fireplace, and there's that little blue triangle there. My guess is that's also board and batten already.
Yeah,
They're not going to go from the plate height up with slump block. It would be some sort of.
no.
Board members, would you want me to do a Google Street
Oh, there's
View?
the picture. Okay, yeah.
I can do a street view if you need to look at the street. Otherwise, I can leave just the staff report
I-
photo.
I'm pretty familiar with that neighborhood.
Okay.
On the exterior that we talked about, where the fireplace is halfway up, it's wood siding on the half. We'll just refinish that, paint it white.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry, I realized I was muted. But the reason I asked about the shingle color was typically when we see these homes turn to this kind of off-white, Navajo white, whatever you may call it, they usually start to convert the brown shingle roofs over to charcoal or gray to give that pop. And I didn't know if that's what your proposal was with this.
No, we're going to stay in the brown family.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the popular is kind of black and white, but we're
Yeah.
going to kind of stand with the brown.
Well, the existing brick that's in the front courtyard, that kind of goes with the roof already, so that would be a smarter move, I think.
Yeah.
Good call.
Okay. Any other questions? Would anyone like to propose a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move that we approve the application that was submitted for 117 South Florence Avenue as recommended by staff.
Okay, do you have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further
I'm sorry, I
discussion?
didn't get, can I ask who made the second?
I think John and someone else at the same time did.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Thank
So
you.
we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? None. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So next item is a design plans for roof mounted solar panel installation proposed for 13845 West Harvest Avenue. Jason, do you have a review for that?
I do. Thank you, Chair and board members. The solar electric project for 13845 West Harvest Avenue is to add a pitched solar energy collector panel on top of a pitched roof home. It's over in Sunset Terrace. It's funny, I grabbed the Google Street View and it still had the Mattamy Homes. You can tell it was the sales office of the model. I'm sure that it has a door by now, a regular garage door. So in any case, here's the street view of the home. It's a, sometimes in plan view, in site plan view, you can't tell that it's a two-story home unless you really look. I'm sure the chair can figure that out. But for me, I was looking at it, I'm like, what is happening with these roof lines until I realized it was a two-story home. So there are a relatively large number of small arrays on this home based on its roof lines. I think they've counted 7. My bigger concern is they're trying to work with the roof lines, but they've got 7 arrays and they have panels orientating this way and that way. And in the larger array, that'll be, I believe, front facing is, got a couple gaps in it to make room for the air vents or the ceiling vents. So I wasn't certain, if the solar company representative, if they're here or if it's just the homeowner, if they looked at ways to try to consolidate or limit the number of panel arrays on the house, because it's going to be quite busy. And in particular, I worry about the ones that might be, perhaps up here where you're coming down the street and you're just going to see, a couple panels up there. But some of these other ones that are tucked in the back over the first floor, but kind of behind the gable roof of the garage, those might be tucked in the back where you won't see it. But in this one, we wanted to bring it to the board because we were concerned by the number of small arrays all over the roof. See what the thoughts were. We're trying to get to the requirements of the quadrangular shape, trying to keep panels oriented the same way so they're not turned 90 degrees, all over the roof. But that said, perhaps we get an explanation from the applicant, and really, staff could support the project if this is as good as it gets. We're trying to work with them to get the productivity that they desire from the panel project, but at the same time, meet code requirements and get it as good as it can be. So that said, I'll let the applicant comment.
Okay, is it the applicant present?
My name is Heather Romero with Tesla.
Okay, and then,
And yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna say, if you're kind of understanding how our code works for the city, that what we usually request is kind of a regular shape array and kind of pick a direction for the panels and not kind of flip them different directions, so that they kind of look neat from the street view at any rate.
Yes, and I am familiar with that. And this is just a different style home that we typically have these challenges of meeting the requirements of symmetry and of doing just one large array based on the customer's electrical needs, the energy needs, and then the available roof space along with meeting the fire setback requirements and not running into obstructions.
Uh-huh.
And so the notes that I have, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The notes that I have about the front east side of the home, the reason why they cannot match the other side of the gable is the obstruction. So if the 4 panels were to go in the same direction as the other side, it would run into the obstruction and then run into the fire setbacks as well.
Okay. I think in the past, we've just kind of try to make it work, whether we can get the maximum that you can absolutely fit, no matter what, that we kind of ask a little bit more for our homes. I'm not sure if if the other board members have a comment on this.
I guess I would be curious. I imagine they maybe have not looked since they maybe didn't know what we generally ask for, but I'm just curious what the load, I'm sorry, what load they could support with fewer, if they were to reorient the arrays so that they were all in orientation and have fewer solar panels, would they still be able to meet the needs of the house?
That has already been considered, and this has already been cut down to meet the minimum amount of panels to meet the customer's needs.
Okay.
And that is sitting at a 16.32 kilowatt DC size.
Okay. Do any other board members have a concern? It seems like this is kind of throwing all of our other, where we've insisted other applicants kind of meet our code, and we're kind of, if we approve this, we're kind of throwing this out.
This is also in an HOA neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
HOAs
HOAs are not allowed to regulate, I don't believe. If I remember right, only the city can.
This is Brian. I guess I'm having trouble with just this one dimension of the exhibits. It's really hard to really.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at it on a flat exhibit like that, and you've got so many wall planes and angles on a 2-story home with 7 arrays on it. It's hard to kind of picture it. One thing I do know, with it being a flat concrete tile, typically the panels, I imagine, will be pretty flush. I should look at the exhibits to see what's the with the applicant on the line, what's the relief or the height of the panels from the top of the panel to the tile. I could toggle over to the exhibits, but maybe you could tell me right off the top of your head.
It is approximately 4 inches.
Okay, so they're pretty flat.
Yeah.
Yes, and then with it being a Tesla install, we also do the black skirts around, so it is a very low profile display.
Okay, so that said, can you tell me how, compared to other panels, if this is you said the Tesla, I'm not 100% familiar with that, but what is it, when you flip the orientations on the panels, how discernible is the flip in the orientation on the panels in a Tesla installation? Like other panels, you can see the geometry pretty obviously, and it's kind of messy sometimes, but what about these?
So with the panels that we use, and I'm due to technical difficulties, I'm not able to share my screen. However, if you do have the ability to see it, towards the end, there is a picture in a cut sheet of the panel, and they are very solid black. only very closely can you see a lighter tone throughout. So when you are at a distance, even standing on the street looking at the home, you won't know unless you are specifically studying it. It is all pretty flush, solid black.
So
Okay.
when they're joined together, I mean, what we're seeing is, can you see the pattern, the seams? Is it easy to see, or do they read as a solid array, as like a solid piece? So what I was thinking, like if we arrayed, it looks like the most difficult one on the front is the three, the three that are kind of in landscape view. And then you've got two arrays of four that are in opposite, but they could be switched and turned and still have four, but just in a different, just not 4x4, but they would be 1x4 instead of, 2 and 2 would be 1 and 4 long, and then it'd be like 4, 3, and 4. And those are the ones I think we're most concerned about, is the ones that are front facing the street.
If I may, Chair,
Uh-huh.
I've just brought up a Tesla installation, but this is a full roof installation where they make it look like a shingle roof. Are the arrays going to be of a similar construction type like this, or are they different?
I think
No,
those are the
so that is
styles.
that is the solar roof, where it is the shingles and the solar is built into the shingles. This is a solar panel install.
Okay.
So I don't know if anyone understands what I was trying to say, that the two where there's there's 4 panels and there's like 2 and 2. If you flip and you just did 4x1, the same orientation as the one in the middle, you'd still get the same number of panels.
Due to the space, I can't tell to what I have available at the moment if the one on the farthest west would be able to do that. However, I do know that the one farthest east would not be able to do that because of the obstruction that is on the roof near the gable.
So the one that's farthest east is also on a second story roof, right? So, I mean, it's probably not even going to be that visible from, I'm guessing, from the street.
I need
Yes.
to look at the front elevation at the same time. Oops, wrong way. Oh yeah, they're on different planes.
So I feel like mainly the only ones that would be kind of potentially an eyesore would be the ones on that lower, what was probably the garage now.
Yeah, over the garage.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, does anyone else want to propose a motion or have any objections?
I think that Rachel makes a good point when that's on the second floor, that's really kind of out of view of people basically standing looking at the front of the house.
Yeah. I think just, and the one in the middle that's angled down, slopes down towards the street on the lower section, it seems like it's as regular as it can be
Right.
on that roof plane. But so if someone would like to propose a motion.
So I'll propose that the solar electric project on 13845 West Harvest Avenue is approved, subject to the exhibits and the stipulations that the staff noted for wiring and conduit being concealed and the minimum of 18-inch clear space being provided.
Okay, we have a motion. Can I, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Say
Aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry, opposed? Hearing none. Okay, thanks. All right, back to the agenda. Sorry, I'm scrolling between my little iPhone and my iPad. So that was, okay, so the next is design plans for an addition, exterior remodel proposed for 14533 West La Jolla Drive. Jay,
Thank you, Chair. Board members, I do have a relatively short report on this item. I could have elaborated a little bit further. Pam and I were a little compressed for time this week with applications coming in and trying to get all the exhibits formatted before the deadline. So for 14533 West La Jolla Drive, the applicant seeking approval for a new RV garage and livable space additions to the existing single-story home. And below you can see the proposed revised front elevation. More or less everything left of, on the left third of the screen is the new addition and everything on the right is the existing. So you can tell the architect for the project has certainly taken some time to replicate architectural themes, colors, and materials for the project to accommodate, the owner's wishes for an RV garage and additional, I believe, office space or like a guest suite. This is a unique application in the sense that the irregular shaped lot has an extension of property that was captured probably because it's a curvilinear street network in that neighborhood, and it's just an irregular shaped oversized lot. And so if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the site plan and I'm going to share that with you. 1 second. Trying to find it in all of this on my screen. No, not that one. 1 second. All right. All right. So here's the aerial view that'll give you kind of an indication. Wait, I think this is it. Yeah. So they have a little bit of an odd shaped lot, and you can see they have 3 street sides, right? They've got a street front and then a couple street sides, and then mountain view over here. It's not labeled in the aerial just because of where I captured it, but you can see the home here. And so what they want to do is they want to do like a little corridor, and then they're going to do an RV garage and then the additional livable. And I'm going to scroll down so you can see more. Here's the street view on the front, so you can kind of see the unique street network, driveway, whole house orientation on a kind of a corner / through lot. It's a better idea here. You can see they've got a large gate, and looks like they've got almost like a car RV gate there. And then there's the site plan. So my initial concern was that the home was not meeting setback requirements because I was a little surprised at the showing a 5-foot setback for this relatively large addition to the home. But I reviewed this with Pam, and the home is allowed to have 10 and 5 or a total of 15-foot setbacks. Now, usually you'd find that 10-foot setback would typically be on the street side. In this case, it was provided on the interior lot side on the, that looks to be, maybe the west. So on the east side, they've got the projection of 5 and 6 as noted on their call out. So you've got the new casita, about a 404 square feet. The new garage shop, it's 651 square feet. And again, that is a significant architectural feature for the garage because it is what appears to be an RV garage. Maybe the applicant can explain, but the size and scale of the addition compared to the rest of the home is impressive, I guess. It's just very dominating. So ultimately, what it came down to is we don't have a problem with the colors and materials, etc., on the house. It's just rather the size and scale of an RV garage projection. And then my concern, as the house is very close to the property line on the east side along Mountain View. And, perhaps that can be mitigated. We've talked about RV garages in the past. Does it truly have to be that tall to accommodate their needs? Can it be lowered so it doesn't like book in the house with a garage door? And then also, is there a way to compress that 5 feet back in by collapsing the corridor? If you look here, this is the corridor hallway that connects them. Is there any way to compress it or not, so that we can bring it over and give a little more edge to that east side yard setback? And if they could do that, I think staff could support it, not a problem. And I'll turn it over to the board and the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant present?
Yeah, good afternoon.
I'm here. This is Lydia Reyes. I'm the designer, and the owner is on the same meeting as well. As far as connecting the garage to the house, the reason why we have that corridor is because we have a couple of bedrooms windows along that wall. So we need to provide for fire escape. So I cannot close those windows. So that's kind of why we separated, so we can have that comply with the fire requirement for exiting. So that's why we didn't want it to have too tight either. So we provide like 5 feet so we can still have some breeze and some kind of vines and decorate that wall so it's a pleasant view from the bedroom to that side. So that's why the reason.
Okay.
To mention too about the height, is the owner desire, to have that height for the garage shop side. So it might look like a massive, but at the same time, it's not at the same plane. So I think by the variation, it will not be so impressed to have it if it was to be on the same plane. So that's why I was trying to play with the various elements, so it will hide a little bit that height, so it will make it more pleasant to the view. And then plus we submit this to the HOA, and they approve it with no problems, other than just to get your approvals and the construction permits.
Okay. Just to state my opinion, I think we've asked other applicants not to let the RV garage extend above the ridge of the main part of the house, just because of the scale and appropriateness of the scale of the addition. It should never overwhelm or be taller than the main house. And I think we've made that request a couple times for previous applicants. And for that reason, I think I would request that the RV garage be brought down in height, so it's a little bit more appropriate to the scale of the rest of the house. But if any other board members would like to comment on that.
Personally,
I guess I'm surprised that the HOA approved it. I don't think there's any other house over there that has an RV garage. So I do agree with you, Madam Chairman, that I think it's a little overwhelming for the plan.
Can I ask also, I'm trying to read the drawings, but it's a little pixelated. It looks like it's 19 feet 4 inches for the peak. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my opinion is I agree. I think it would be pretty overwhelming, even though it's on a different plane, because it's going to be right there on the street as well. So as you're coming around the street, I don't think it's going to feel as much like it's a different plane as it would if that street was kind of straight.
So, Madam Chairman, this is the homeowner. You asked for my input. I'm glad to provide my input. I would like you to tell me what's the height of the house of the RV garage that you have authorized to build on the corner of Village Parkway and Hidden Terrace. That's right to the neck. That's at the same distance that my my garage will be, that I intended to be, and it's next on the golf course, and it's on a main street as well.
Oh, was that the one that we just did? They were asked to bring it down to no higher, the peak of it was no higher than the ridge of the existing house is what we asked. And I can't
Mr.
remember what that height was. But we did ask them to bring it down. They had it high like this.
So is there, with all respect, is there any regulation that I can sustain your request?
This is aesthetics right now is all we're speaking of is pure aesthetics. And whether we feel it complements the architecture. As far as I think you're below the height, the legal height restriction.
Okay.
But it's our job to kind of review the aesthetics of things that come before us.
So what is your recommendation from the height? It's my desire to have an RV
Whatever,
garage that I come.
19.4, bring it down to no higher than the ridge of your house, and that's not labeled, so I can't tell you what that is.
Well, the ridge of the house, with all respect, it will be much. It will be much lower. It will deem unusable and not practical having an RV garage.
So my comment is, I mean, because it's not on the same plane and there's other elements around it, will that ease the view from any point? Because I mean, the street is way, I mean, this building is going to be out on the front edge of the house, is going to be way on the back. And then on the side, we have the portion of the shop that is lower and then extending up on the middle section. So it's not like I'm walking by a tall building next to my sidewalk, because I'm away. So I mean, that's.
Jason, would you mind pulling up the site plan?
Yeah, I can pull it up. Just one second. Lydia, I apologize. If you can clarify for the chair's request, what's the height of the ridgeline of the existing home? It's not labeled.
Let me, I'm just going to pull out the plan. Just give me a sec.
No worries. You just want me to go, Board Member Dudley, you just want me to go to the site plan, correct?
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
almost there. Sorry. Thanks. All right, here we go. I think, if I may, I know that the applicant's architect has stepped away for a moment. I guess the concern that I had was that we keep saying that it's obscured from view, but my concern is that it's the flip opposite of that. It's actually dominant of view based on its, being almost a through lot with 3 street sides on it. And this one happens to be at the corner of 2 streets. So I guess, if the interest of the chair was to consider a minor modification to the height of the garage to not exceed the roof line of the ridge of the house, as in keeping with prior approvals, I guess that perhaps Lydia can explain what the ridge line height is.
Yeah, the existing for the main house is 18 feet 4 inches.
Okay, so we're talking about 1 foot. This sounds like a familiar conversation from the last one. So the RV garage is exactly 1 foot taller than the rest of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that will be how much ridge line? Like a 20 feet ridge line at the 19. So I mean, it's not a big ridge line that is going to be above the main roof line. You know what I'm talking?
Yeah, I mean, it's still, our point is that it's kind of like a thumb sticking up. It's just a little bit out of scale with the rest of the build. It's not really tucked in as we'd wish. Like sometimes you can hierarchy things, but when it's standing kind of off on one end, it really accentuates the height of that.
Could I ask a question to Ms. Reyes?
Mhm.
Did the HOA have any commentary on the approval?
The HOA, you mean?
Yeah, did the HOA have any comments on the approval that you received?
No, and I attach a copy of that letter on the report that I submit. So the board should have a copy of that letter.
I didn't include it in the packet.
Oh, okay.
So actually, there's only one comment, is that the new structure matches the color of the house. Just to be transparent, there is one, is regarding the color of the house.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other questions for the applicant?
No, I mean, just that, I mean, it will be undefeated. I mean, it will be hard to justify the RV garage if we drop it for a foot. So it's going to be.
I don't understand that, Lydia. How do you can't justify dropping the garage a foot? I build these garages a lot, and they're all different heights. But 9 feet, that won't even, your RV won't even get under the bridges around here.
Yeah. Well, but for the owner's purposes.
Right, for the owner. So, but we're here for the community purposes. We want to satisfy the owner, but also satisfy the community.
Mm-hmm.
So there are, with all respect, Mr. Romack, there are a lot of buildings that are taller than 19 feet. And if it is a judgment of a foot of what you decide that is, this is not an eyesore, it's something that it has built with the heights in mind of anything that's around the neighborhood. So if you tell me that I'm trying to build an obelisk that is 25 feet tall, or something that is 3 foot taller than anything, I will say that from the level of the street, a foot is negligible. You will have to really be with a measuring tape to tell that it's a foot away, especially that the RV garage is tucked into the lot.
Well, if we go back in history of this committee, which I've been on now for 12 years, we've always said that in general, that the RV garage, I don't even like the fact that we're allowing RV garages in the community. But that being said, if it's going to fit in, if it's going to be on your lot, it needs to fit in and not be, as the Madam Chairman said, kind of a thumb sticking up. So I would suggest that you consider dropping it down at least a foot to accommodate the height of the house.
So with all respect, I've been working on this project for more than a year and a half, and I have consulted with the city if there were any height restrictions or anything, and making sure that it's fitting, and what has never been brought to my attention. Furthermore, my architect has consulted this a couple of times with the city. I don't have records of that, but I can assure you that this was expected to come at a no surprise. And there was a lot of thought put into this.
The plans were certainly professionally prepared. If I may, from the staff perspective and the city's perspective, you need to understand that the zoning ordinance also includes a subset of design guidelines, which provide the design review board the authority to assess scale, massing, and the overall integration of architectural additions on homes into the community. And in being consistent with prior approvals, and in all fairness to prior applicants and other homeowners in the community, they tried to stay fair. And so in the respect of the home that was nearby approved, they were also asked and obliged by reducing the height of their RV garage to match that or be less than the ridge line of the primary residence. So that's where we're kind of getting to. And Board Member Romack has said, in being consistent with our prior approvals and being fair to all homeowners, they're asking you to reduce it by a foot. Would you be able to do that?
I have to check with my architect and she can tell me if I will have internal space that I need.
And Madam Chairman, having said that, I recommend that we table this for another month and wait till they resubmit it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think certainly we can adjust the height and make it work. If for a foot, I don't think that will be that much problem for the height unless owner wants to move next month and keep working on this.
Okay.
I can go down a foot, but if it doesn't work, I will withdraw the application. I don't want to wait another month.
Okay, I think reducing a foot or two, so that the ridge of the new garage no higher than the ridge of the main house.
It will match the ridge. It's my understanding that Lydia just said it was 18. It was 18 foot.
Mm-hmm.
It was 18.4 and the ridge was 9, and the RV garage was 19 something. I will make it match the height of the garage of the house then.
Okay. I appreciate it. Would someone on the, are there any other comments about the project?
I have another question. Have any of the homeowners that are around these streets, are they aware of this project?
I have not consulted with anybody. I submitted to the HOA, which they have as you, the same authority within the HOA to grant us approval for the architectural request that we had. And we did as part of the due diligence that the City of Litchfield Park requires to submit this application.
Any other comments, or would someone like to make a motion?
I would like to ask just real quick, the staff also included a statement that the home shifted 5 feet further away from the street as noted. Is that been addressed, Jason, adequately in what we've discussed, or?
That was the other turn.
Yeah, Chair and Board Member Dudley, I mean, the architect certainly explained the requirement for the windows on the home that are existing, and they can't just flush the wall. In this case, they can use the allowable setbacks. My concern is the appearance of the home looking overbuilt on the lot, the home looming over the sidewalk in a community that's relatively, single-story homes and it's spread out. It's not preferred. I think if we reduce the height of the RV garage to match the ridgeline, staff would still support their application. With the setbacks as shown, it would just be preferred we didn't encroach that much or build that close to the sidewalk.
Okay.
Yeah, see, the only saving grace for that is just the corners are touching where it goes in.
Correct.
Everywhere else, so it approaches it, but it's not like aligned with it. So it's not like the whole setback is on that 5 foot. So it touches, but it doesn't bear on it the whole length of it. This particular addition just doesn't appeal to me in many ways, and I know the 5 foot bridge across to give fire escape, but it's not going to be a wonderful view from the bedrooms. Just going to be a blank wall. Maybe some
so
vines,
that's my house.
Still, yeah.
So with all respect, that's my house, and we are okay with it.
Okay.
That separation is to ensure that it has fire escape.
Yeah.
My understanding, my architect did due diligence to ensure that's a safe place and it's built with safety.
Yeah. Okay. Would anyone on the board like to make a motion? Or if there's any other questions or concerns, bring them up now.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. I move that we approve the application with the requirement that the RV garage height be lowered to match the height of the main house.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Nay. So I guess we have to do a little count here. Just a second.
Yeah, to be certain. Yes. Board Member Dudley? Or, can you hear me?
Yeah.
How do you vote?
I voted aye for approval.
Okay. Board Member Romack?
Aye.
Board Member O'Connor?
Nay.
Vice Chairman Ledgers?
Aye.
And Chairman Chernesky?
Nay. So it's 3-2.
Okay. 3-2.
Okay.
It's approved.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much all for your time and consideration. It's much appreciated.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, back to the agenda. Go back to. Oops. Oop. Sorry, I'm spinning out now. Oh. Okay, let's see. Okay, so next is the design plans and addition exterior remodel proposed for 145 East Estero Lane.
Yeah, so Madam Chair, I'm going to step out and my husband's going to take my place.
Okay. Jason, can you start your review for this one?
Uh-oh. Are we getting a monsoon?
Yep. I think that's on my TV up here.
Okay, great. I'll get started, guys. Thank you. The 145 East Estero Lane, pretty robust application for a remodel, addition. Quite a lot happening with the application. So it's actually an exciting little project. The intent is to add new livable square footage to an existing home. That new livable square footage will include a home office, a 2-car extended garage, 500 square foot detached casita, and numerous other additions to the property, such as large open courtyards and covered porch spaces. The home will extend across its irregularly shaped lot with an enhanced mid-century modern architectural theme with a blended mix of stone, glass, wood. And as you can see, they're going to adorn the front of the home with an additional shed style roof. So you'll kind of have that opposing shed roof element going on. And you'll see the existing and then the proposed as follows. I'm going to scroll down through the report. The new casita for the property, again, like I said, is 500 square feet. So it's maxing out its detached accessory building square footage. It will include as allowed by the code. It'll include a sleeping room and an entertainment area with a half kitchen. There's no range. And there's an outdoor patio and barbecue area. And then you can see here, I'll keep going, there's a colorized site plan that kind of helps you see the layout. So you'll see kind of how the home sprawls across the property along Estero Lane. So they have a kind of a flattened circular drive providing access, and then they're going to do a new spin-off of that circular drive, and they'll actually have 3 driveways. The blue are the additions, and these are open courtyards over here in the bottom left corner. I don't know if you can see my mouse spin. Primarily the existing areas in the gray. Then you'll see over here the large addition here, the deep garage. This is kind of an oversized extended 2-car garage. And then in the back is the casita. So let me scroll down for the rest of my report. Generally speaking, you know, they provided a lot of exhibits so you can really see what this is intended to look like. It's an extensive remodel in addition to the home. I think it'll have a positive impact on the home as well as the surrounding neighborhood. Staff is supportive of the application as filed, so we're recommending approval subject to the exhibits provided by the applicant. Happy to answer questions. You're muted, sorry.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there you go. Okay. No worries. I was making sure we weren't missing good dialogue.
Okay. No, never. So the applicant is present.
She was.
Yes, good evening. I am the husband of Rachel.
Okay. Nice to see you.
Yes, thank
Are
you.
there any questions for the applicant or for Jason regarding the application? Do any board members have any questions? So I mean, I think it looks really nice. It's going to be a nice change for that house.
Thank you.
And I'm trying, are the colors in the elevator, is that kind of going to be like gray tones and?
Yeah, it's going to be white with kind of in the brown family so that they'll match with the wood features that are going to be there.
Okay. Was there, I think I saw a color board somewhere. Maybe didn't. Okay. Oh. Any other questions?
Sure, I was just going to see if I could find that color board for you. I have the full PDF set here. I'm just trying to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I may have everything but the color board. There's a lot of like drone images and some other. Oh, here we go. I don't know. I think I have everything but the color board.
Okay. It's hard to. So, I mean, the main body is, I mean, hard to tell by here.
You know what? I found it. I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I multitasking. I usually have my giant monitors, but I'm just on my laptop. So 1 second. All right. Here we go. Looks like kind of a taupe color, if you can see my screen.
Okay. Yeah.
So you see that kind of the taupe blending with the darker wood accents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So any more questions or concerns from the board members? Would anyone like to propose a motion?
I'd love to propose a motion to approve this beautiful design. I think it's awesome. So kudos to the applicant. So I move that we approve the application for 145 East Estero Lane per the exhibits and per the staff's recommendations.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you, John. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thanks. So we need
Board member Dudley.
yeah, we need board member Dudley back because I need to recuse myself, I believe.
Here she comes.
Okay. Okay. So on the next item, I need to recuse myself. So I'll mute myself and, let's see. I don't know if you can, excuse me.
We'll put you in the waiting room.
Okay, and then Dave Leverger can take over for me for this item.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, moving on to item F, design plans for an addition exterior remodel proposed for 5080 Litchfield Road. Jason, do we have a staff report?
Certainly, thank you, Acting Chair. Just a brief report for this application. It's very straightforward. The applicant for the project seeking the addition of a 1,268 square foot garage addition. It's more or less a 4-car garage on the rear of the home and a small master bedroom expansion. The new north elevation will appear as follows. You can see the existing on this one side, and then they've mimicked the same architecture and same garage doors occurring over on the other side. And they've got a lattice connection between the two. It won't really be visible from a public street due to the depth of the large lot, and I can pull that up on another exhibit for you if you'd like. Everything's noted that the garage door treatments, colors, materials, and the building height will match that of the existing residence so as to appear an integral part of the overall structure. That said, because it's matching everything and it's not hardly visible from the street, I'm not concerned about any negative impact of this much garage being added to the property, and it's pretty much expected for homes of this size and in the neighborhood that they'll have, you know, a 4-car garage at least, so for their vehicles. So we're supporting the application as filed, and just again with the following condition, that should be a number 1. I'll correct that. Just reiterating that all colors, building materials, and finishes will match that of the existing residence. So ensure they check that at the building permit level.
Okay, are there any questions of staff?
Jason, can you pull up a site plan?
Certainly. Give me 1 second. I'm going to toggle screens and I'll have it right up. Let me see where I put it. I'm almost there. Just scrolling through the PDFs. I'm going to screen share now. I'll tell you, I like these hearings like this because I can just whip up these exhibits in a minute. There you go.
Thank you.
This is the existing site plan. I'm going to scroll down and then you can see how it's illustrated with the new 4-car garage behind the existing.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, is the applicant here?
I am, sir.
Sir, is there anything you would like to add to what Mr. Sanks had to say?
No, it's pretty straightforward. We will match our colors and stucco finish exactly. That new portion is behind a kind of an electric gate there to give us some more storage. And we're trying to add a little master closet and extend the front side of the house to make a larger master. Everything will match existing architecture, and you'll have a hard time noticing it all from the street. And my neighbor to the north, everything to the north of the new garage structure is unlandscaped desert behind his existing property. So there'll be no effect with Mr. Smith.
Okay. Do any of the commissioners have any questions of the applicant? Do any of the commissioners have any comments or any concern, or would someone like to do a motion?
Sure, I'll move that. I'll move that we approve the application at 508 North Old Litchfield Road per the staff's recommendation and assuming that all finishes will match existing.
There a second? Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Thank you. Greatly appreciated.
And Bex?
Okay, is Susan coming back?
I'm here.
Okay. I'll turn it
Thanks.
back over to you.
Thank you. Okay, I guess the last thing is to approve the minutes. Or not the last thing, but the next thing. For the July 2nd meeting.
I move we approve the minutes.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. And then we have staff report of current events.
Certainly, Chair.
I'd like to, excuse me, Chair, I'd like to make a comment. It's been brought to our attention. It's not listed on the agenda, but we just want to clarify that the staff report is a report, and it should just be a report, and there should not be any discussion regarding the items mentioned.
Okay. So, as part of a motion or anything. Is that what you mean?
Right, or even occasionally we have allowed a question or two, but that tends and it's not just this board. We're asking this of the other boards and commissions too. Sometimes you ask a question which leads to another question, which leads to more discussion, and that it's not listed on the agenda for discussion. It's just listed so that staff can make the report.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
We'll keep our questions to a minimum.
If you do have
Pam's
questions,
going to mute your mics.
if you do have questions, we'd be happy. You can call staff or email staff after the meeting or tomorrow. We'd be happy to help you out with any questions you have.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I'll try to keep it brief. I know we had a lot of items on the agenda, but there's some interesting things happening in the city. So you may have noticed on the agenda tonight, we did not have the downtown center project come back yet. We anticipate next month. We know that the brew pub's going to come back with a use permit request that's being noticed, so that'll be prepared for next month. So that will accommodate them in their new location next door. Sun Health went to P&Z this month and received a recommendation for approval to the City Council for their 300+ acre rezoning effort and conceptual development plan for their 82 acres. We do anticipate that the applicant for that project, or the real estate developer for them, Paul Vanderveen, will be submitting a design review board application for multifamily housing on the project in the very near term. And based on the development agreement with Sun Health that's in draft form right now, we anticipate that design review board approvals will be forwarded to the City Council for the ultimate approval, which we'll call the final development plan. So just see that on your radar. Those projects will be coming in, as Sun Health builds out their property. So that's the latest update on that. No other updates that I'm aware of. Do you know any, Pam?
Nope, I think that's it for now.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Do any board members have any reports on current events? Nope. Is everybody muted? Okay. If there's no current events to share among the board members, motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second.
A second. A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.